count us down. This is gonna be good. I feel dirty already.
Okay, everyone, please unmute your microphones. You'll be live in 3, 2, 1.
Please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Today is October 21st. This is the Environmental Conservation Board. We have an agenda we're going to go through, and the first applicant is Anna Inzano, 188 Bullet Hole Road. Install two utility poles within the buffer.
Good evening, gentlemen. and
Good
ladies.
evening.
Paul Lynch from Putnam Engineering, here to represent Anna Inzano.
Okay.
A little bit of
Okay.
delay there. This project appeared before the board a few years back, and we had gotten our wetlands permit to do the site improvements that were required to satisfy a violation that had been issued by the New York City DEP
Is this the
and the town.
property where area was cleared
Yes,
and then a house was brought in?
yes,
I remember that.
yes.
2 years ago, you said.
Well, the project is pretty much completed. What has come up is that the Inzanos, in their ability to use the common driveway to get to their parcel, may not have the ability to have electricity brought up that way. Because NYSEG at this point in time is looking to bring electric to the house, and they need an easement from the adjoining property owners, and the adjoining property owners are not willing to give it to them. So we're sort of stuck between a rock and a hard place, and are looking to install 2 utility poles so that electric can be brought from Bullet Hole Road up to the Inzano driveway where it breaks off the common driveway, and then obviously there it goes underground to the house.
Could you walk us through this where, I see where the poles are located, but the question is I don't know, and there's a driveway that's shown here, area of access easement down on the bottom,
This is the common driveway
right?
that comes up, and at this point, the Inzano driveway breaks off. This continues up to the house that's over in this location. The property line is running right through here. So what we're looking to do is, there's a utility pole out here on Bullet Hole Road. We're looking to install 1 utility pole here, and the other utility pole would be right up here at the driveway, and at this point, it's underground.
So 3 poles.
2 poles.
There's one already on the
Oh,
road.
there's one area.
Yeah, the one on the road already exists, so it's coming off of that pole to come into the property.
So the first pole that's off the road, where is that? That's in the wetland?
It's in the wetland buffer.
Okay, and then the second pole.
It's still in the buffer.
Okay, so what are we doing to mitigate the buffer? Because I saw your letter here, okay? And I have no issues on it, but here's my concerns, and I know you have no control over NYSEG.
Correct.
But, we're working with hydraulic equipment out there
This,
to drill the hole for the
no,
pole.
this would be hand dug.
Okay, well, I don't have a scope, a sequence of work.
Okay,
So at the very minimum, I need to see a sequence of work.
okay.
Just gonna dig 4 or 6 feet down, 4 or 6 feet down for this pole?
Yeah, I mean, you can use basically a hand
Hand
auger.
auger.
Yeah,
Alright.
to do
Then
that,
how's
because
it
you're
gonna
only,
get the pole in there?
They'll back it up on a truck and they'll drop it in with a knuckle boom.
yeah, or basically you just carry it down and you just manually get it.
Well, that's the stuff I
Elevated.
need to see, because
Okay.
here's my problem, right? You know, when I put utility poles in, we usually come with an auger machine, truck. Comes in, drills the hole, picks the pole, sets the pole, backfill, go away, right? But now we're driving in the wetland buffer with a large vehicle, right? So I need to kind of have, we kind of need to see your sequence of work. If you're gonna use if NYSEG's gonna use a large truck, or if you guys are gonna hand dig the hole, I don't know. But I need to know, and you know, with a pole.
Yes.
Depending on the height, depends on how deep it has to go. too.
Correct.
So I'm not looking for those calculations, but what I am is you're gonna have to put something in that's obviously
You want
meets
a more
code. I
detailed
need some
sequence
meat.
of
I
construction.
need some meat here.
Okay.
Well, this does say that they do all, that whole first poles by hand, and they would carry it down by hand, the spot hand trimming will be done, direct line of access, right? And then the second one, I assume, since it's right on the driveway, you're just gonna use
Yeah, that'd be,
Whatever, it doesn't
that
matter.
was a standard procedure. It was the one that's in the wetland buffer down here that,
the ground required.
trying to do the least amount of disturbance to get that pole set.
Backfill. You can include, like, the backfilling here, that's gonna be done by hand, or you're gonna be using an excavator, mini excavator?
That'll be it.
Sure.
Handwork.
Great.
So the excavation for the utility poles will be hand dug, so, I mean, you gotta kind of just, then what happens,
Can you point where that first pole is gonna be put? How far is that from the driveway?
384, boom, boom, boom. About 170 feet. Yeah, that distance will be 170. And this distance is like 180. If NYSEG tells me that they can go farther,
Yeah.
then the pole will, obviously can move closer in this direction.
right?
But unfortunately, we're having issues with getting information back from NYSEG. And basically, I did my layout based on a previous
Right.
plan that I've done, that I've known's been accomplished and,
I mean, also,
Done in the
if they're
past.
gonna hand dig, I don't have a problem with the hand digging and putting it back, and the area's not gonna really be that disturbed, but, you're cutting brush and everything
Yes.
else down here. The problem is if, what if NYSEG says, we're not hand digging, we're not horsing the pole in, we're going to do our own methods, I gotta have an account for that, like, what are we gonna do? Restore the area after you're done installing it? I mean, I need to have some contingency. I'm not trying to be difficult, Paul, I'm just trying to think
Okay.
outside the box here.
okay, I'll put a potential mitigation plan together for, a couple of scenarios.
Who's gonna be actually putting the poles in, NYSEG?
NYSEG's supposed to put the first pole in.
What about the second one?
The second would be by the homeowner.
Homeowner.
And the second one is off the driveway, so that's an easy pole to put in.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer. It's the first one, the one that's in the buffer, that's
Right.
the issue, really.
That's the issue.
I think I'd be more very amicable to your proposal here if we had some assurances that NYSEG was going to follow this. Like, if they come back and say, yeah, great, this is a great
You
plan.
can't, it's a utility company.
I know, well, so that's where we have a kind of a problem. So you're saying you're having trouble getting back from them? Like, I personally would be fine with making it contingent upon them doing some sort of approval on this, it's themselves saying this is fine. With your contingencies that you put in place as well in case they do not follow it. For instance, if they instead of following the plan of using only hand, they instead decide to use heavy machinery, what's the recourse then? What is a homeowner gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, even if you go in there with a skid steer and an auger on it,
Right.
I mean, it's still a disturbance,
Correct.
right?
So you're just going back and, regrading whatever's disturbed.
Yeah, well,
and
that's the
planting,
thing, like-
seeding and,
Right.
mulching, et cetera.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like,
Okay.
I'm fine with, I have no issues putting the pole in, but I just need to know what.
Okay.
Okay, and, I can see what you wrote here, and it's fine, but I need to know the what ifs.
Okay,
Like, if he goes in there, sinks, makes tire tracks from 180 feet, it's gonna be backfilled with, clean fill, wetland seeding, whatever, so it will be restored back to its original shape.
okay.
Because is that area very wet, or is it dry?
Not right now, no. This would be a good time to actually be doing the work, now in November.
Okay. It's a small wetland permit, has to be advertised.
Yes. Well, even if you get into December, at least December.
Yeah, you'll be
it's-
into December.
You get it in, but if you get some frost and you'll be less chance of really making any damage to the soil, but it'd be better to get it in November,
Yeah,
get it done.
all right, so just submit the stuff,
Okay,
and then we'll put you on the docket for next meeting.
okay,
And then, listen, I understand, but,
okay,
all right?
thank you.
Nobody's living in the house now, are they?
No. Back up there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next meeting is fine. No, contingency is good. I think that's very valid. We're dealing with a third-party contractor that isn't really a contractor. They're doing it, it's a nice act. I'm totally fine with that.
Well, that won't hurt them either, but it is what it is.
2 weeks is, so 2 weeks. And it's, hey, if they use heavy machinery, then here's the contingency, we're covered, right?
Okay. Next item is 12 Baldwin Lane LLC, addition of expansion of existing septic system. Good
evening.
Please state your name for the record.
Get to the microphone. William Besharat, I'm actually on behalf of Roy Frederickson. He's the engineer for this project, but he could not come down from Albany today. The project, I don't know if you got a chance to take a look at it. This is a unique situation, basically.
Okay, so what is existing here?
There's a house,
The one-story frame
a
dwelling?
one-story dwelling, yes.
Okay, so now you're, okay, so we're all clear. Your application is for expansion of a septic system. That's what you're here for?
And the house, and put
No,
the addition on the
no,
house.
no.
It says addition.
Oh, you want to say something?
Yes, sorry, before we begin, I personally know Mr. Besharat, and I'm just going to recuse myself from this matter.
Sure. Okay, your application is expansion of existing septic system.
There's an it says of. On our.
Existing septic system.
There is an existing septic system there, yes.
That's what your application's here for,
Okay?
not for an addition to the house. So, let's get our stories right.
Okay.
So let's just talk about the septic system, and you'll have to come back for the house.
Okay. So this is what happened is, it all started with an addition onto the house, went to the building department. They referred us to the zoning board to get a zoning variance on this. We went to the zoning board, we got the zoning board variance. Also, the building department, that we're talking about, this is last year sometimes, asked to expand, for us to expand the septic system, and we did. We got to the health department. We've gone through the deeps and perks with the health department and with New York City DEP, but New York City DEP, gave the health department as the lead agency on this. We got the Board of Health approval from the health department, and went back to the building department, and we got a building permit. The construction started. And then all of a sudden, it came out, hey, slow down, guys, you need a,
Well, who was the engineer who designed the house?
I
you do-
designed the house
did you
and
do
Board of
your due
Education did the Board of
diligence?
Health approval.
Did you do your due diligence by checking the wetlands?
Well, the engineer, when he did the work,
That's not his responsibility.
it is his
your
responsibility, because he's the one who's doing the septic
responsibility.
system.
No, it's your responsibility as the engineer
The
to
health
make
dep-
sure that you are not within the wetlands of either the state, the city, the town, whatever. You need
We
to
always
check
look
your
for
work.
the federal and the state, always 100% of the
town.
time, including the health department itself. Because it went back to the health department, the health department said, we do not recognize this. Okay, this is a drainage from Route 6, okay? And the health department said the septic system is valid and remain valid, and we will not do anything with it because it went through the proper channel to get the Board of Health approval on this.
Do you have an NOV at this location?
And what?
Is there an NOV on this location? Notice of violation?
Yes, it was issued just recently, after the construction started
It's
with the
not-
building permit.
Not mentioned in here.
There was an email, but it's not in the
I
file.
didn't see that. Okay. All right, so the expansion of the existing septic system, where are we expanding? What are we expanding? Because you're gonna have to continue, come back to us now, because you're in the buffer.
Okay, we will be more than happy to. According to what I think this thing's working. This is the existing house, this is the garage that's gonna be removed, and this is the garage, and the addition to the house is going to be on this side over here. This is the expansion of the septic area. This is the septic is really back in this area, so when we went to the health department, they opted that we do a new septic system, will be a better
So
scenario.
the whole thing's in the wetland.
Portion of it is in the wetland, and the rest
Well,
of
no,
it, most of the property is, according to this, is in the town wetland buffer.
Right, well,
Exactly.
no, if I look at the map you've provided me,
Mm-hmm.
the wetland boundary, half of it, more than half of it is in the wetland, and the other half is in the buffer.
Okay.
So what I'm asking you is, I need to know the total area of disturbance,
Okay?
Then
Which
if
we
it-
have that. It's on the plan.
22,386 square feet.
Yes.
Okay, so now that requires a SWIP, because you're greater than 5,000 square feet.
And we were informed of that later on, after the building permit was issued, and we will be submitting after we did
Okay,
the
so,
work with you.
well, I
with
can't
the
accept
Geneva.
this application because your submission's incomplete then.
So you want me to get
Well, the SWIP usually is submitted to us on the application,
uh-huh,
right? So I can review it, I can
Okay.
send it to the town engineer for approval.
okay?
I'm missing pieces of, the application's incomplete. And I will need some details on the septic system, depth,
So you want the full, we have a full septic design that we can submit that to.
that'd be fine.
Okay.
I'm not approving the septic design, we just need to see the
Okay.
type of septic system that you're installing.
All right,
If you are going to be including any other items aside from the septic system in this application, because right now, what Bob was pointing out was, the chairman was pointing out, this application it specifically says expansion of existing septic system.
Right, it's expansion, it's
Has
not
no
new.
inclusion of any of the
So do you want to
additional,
redo the
like,
application, or should we?
addition-
we will modify,
continue
we
or
will
should we
modify the
stop?
wording for the whole thing on the application, sure.
So, well, let's go through some of the stuff that I would like to see as well, too. Like, for instance, we'll need the entirety of.
Yeah, we need
of
the entire
The building,
plans.
whatever the building information is, the plan, the site plan for
Excuse me,
the,
just 1 second, please,
Sure,
I'm
sure.
just writing. So on the application, we need to include it in the house, and,
Okay, because what, I'm a little disturbed that we're in the wetlands, we're in the buffer, we're doing work in both areas, and yet you're telling me you're here for expansion of a septic system. I just feel like,
Robert,
you
no-
know,
no
I don't
problem.
think, I think the water's a little cloudy.
okay, well, let's work, work this thing out and see what we can do. Whatever you guys need, we'll be more than happy to submit. Nick, did you say you want a copy of the addition, the plan, the addition
need-
to the house?
we'll
Well, you
need
need to show us.
all of it.
Because now, you're not only looking at 22,000 square feet, of disturbance. You're also looking at the disturbance for the new addition, the new driveway, the new area of the garage. So that adds up.
Those are
Now,
all included in the number that we gave you.
How do I know that?
All right, we'll clarify it. It's no big deal. Nick, did you say you wanted the house plan submitted also for your,
At the
to take a
very
look at?
least, we need to have some more information on here about how you're gonna be
No, no, it's no
constructing
problem
that.
to submit those. It's not really a problem.
Sure, include in the file. You can include as
Well,
much
you're
as
not,
you
Yeah,
want.
you're not gonna just submit it to us for our information. You're gonna be submitting it to us for our approval,
I
because you're in
understand.
the buffer. There's no mitigation here. You propose one rain garden. I don't see rain garden calculations. You want me to continue?
The rain garden calculations is done, and it's on there, and they go through it. It's like, Robert, we will take care of everything that has to be taken care of. It's just like right now, we discussion, you're telling me this is what you need, and we'll be more than happy to accommodate. Completely accommodate everything that you ask us for, we will be more than happy to submit
But
it.
I'm not here to
I'm not arguing.
check your work.
You know
here
what?
to- I'm
I-
here to review the
you know, the-
completed application.
The area of disturbance, that number includes everything, including the
Well,
driveway
I
and the
don't
whole.
know that.
Okay, well, then
You
we
need to show us
clarify it.
that.
On this, we'll show that, calculations of area of disturbance includes every portion of the system, of the application.
I also need to see a SWIP. We also have to approve the SWIP, and the SWIP is gonna have to be sent to the DEP for approval as well. You know that, right?
Okay?
So the, separate thing aside from the SWIP, the well that you have on this property that you're abandoning right now.
Mm-hmm.
I see that you're putting a new proposed well at the bottom left-hand corner of the
Correct, yeah,
lot.
towards the street.
I need details on how you're abandoning the
Right, we'll
well.
need that. So like, if, the capping and then official, what is it, the light, do we need the drill capper's license or no?
I need the well driller's installation license.
Installation license.
I need the well driller's material he's using to abandon the well. I need the procedure on how he's abandoning a well.
I can't write that fast. License.
So the driller's license and, how they're closing the well.
Okay.
Are there any other,
And then you're also gonna have to include in your calculations for disturbance is the trenching from the house to the well for the wire and pipe.
there's
It's,
a 1 inch
the
water
area of
service.
disturbance include the well, including the
I
area of
don't know
disturbance.
that. I
The
don't-
whole, we will clarify that on the plan, yes, no
Because
problem.
if I look at the line here, it shows, okay, you need to show me how you come up with the number
No,
22,000.
no problem at all. No problem at all, we'll take care of that. Anything else?
Yes.
Okay,
So, as Bob mentioned, the sequence of construction on like everything, including the house, the drains, all of that, that all needs to be included in there. I have,
I need the well driller's license.
there's a missing, delineation on here, which is, you have the delineation for the wetland boundary per wetlands map of the town. We also need the 100-foot buffer coming
Okay.
off of that put on here as well, so we can see, I suspect that a
Has this been
majority.
flagged lately?
no.
Well, I suggest you get it flagged.
Yeah, there's another factor of this as well, which I was gonna bring up as well, which Bob just mentioned. I suspect that a majority of your
Yeah.
property is within the 100-foot buffer, but I don't
Correct.
think the entirety is, so that would be a thing for you to determine. But the wetland flagging, this is a town of.
We're only here to look at the septic.
Sure, this is
I can't-
advisory, I'm giving you
Yeah,
some advisory information
Nick, we
too.
appreciate that, and, look, all these items, I will be more than happy to accommodate all of them at the next meeting. It's like items that you asking me for, that we will add them. I don't see any issue with that.
Well,
So because you are, because this is on the town of wetlands map, the town of Carmel wetlands map it's an older map. It would be very beneficial for you to have the wetlands reflagged, and I suspect that you may find that the wetlands may have moved from when this map was created, which was 15 or 20 years
Yeah,
ago.
you may want
Well,
to
more
get,
like 30 years ago.
Sure.
you may
I'll
want to
take
get
that.
the wetland inspector out there too to
Right.
verify.
You may find that less of the proposal that you
Okay.
have here is within the buffer or within the wetlands, which would be very good for your, for this board.
We'll also will try to see what we can do about rotating the septic
That would
to
be
push it
fantastic.
out,
Yeah.
out of the wetland itself as much as we can. We will definitely see what we can work with that.
May I ask
We're
that,
only looking at the septic.
yep, the area above the septic.
Yes.
There is 100% expansion SSTS area.
Yeah.
Is anything going on in there? Is there any construction or anything going on?
No, but it's the health department requirement because we do have 2 feet of fill section for leveling and what have you. The health department, only Putnam County Health Department requires this, that the fill section has to be also put into the expansion area. That's the only activity will be, okay? And it has been prepared to do that, and then it stopped. We had the bank run scheduled to be delivered. There's no construction, there's no fields, there's absolutely nothing going in there, no junction boxes or anything like that,
You
only the
said there
fill
is
section.
fill though? There's fill going in there, or did I hear you wrong? I might have just heard you wrong.
Yes, there's the bank, the bank run fill section, yes, 2 feet,
2 feet.
yes.
Okay.
Does that also count?
I will include that in our
That will need to be included in.
Calculations.
calculation. No, it is included in the calculations.
Great.
You have to break the number out.
We will show the details of how the calculations, what it includes in the disturbance area.
And now what mitigation you gonna do in the wetlands for the septic system? Because it's usually a 2-for-1,
A what?
2-for-1. So if you disturb 5,000 feet, you gotta fix 10,000 feet.
Well, not
In the-
just
in the wetlands.
In the wetlands. I don't
In
think
the
there's
wetlands.
5,000 in the wetlands.
No, I don't know what the number is in the wetlands.
Sure.
So I need some mitigation.
Okay.
And that, we're just strictly talking the septic system.
Okay.
You're gonna have to file another application for the house, because you're in the buffer.
Why can't we include the application for the house and the septic at the same time?
Well, because the application I have right now in
We will
front of me-
modify the application.
Well, you can check with Rose on that. This one is, tonight is just the expansion of the existing septic system. And again, the water's a little cloudy here.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do with it. I mean,
You also have to do some mitigation. You're gonna have to do mitigation.
If you're able to actually get this septic system rotated, I don't know what the, you can probably get most of that out of the out of the actual wetland.
yeah, because, with the
I know you have your
contours,
well.
we can go this way. We have to stay 20 feet away, and now we will be within the expansion, within the deep holes and perks, so that should be no issue whatsoever, and that will rotate it out of here a lot. Will be like this portion only.
Yeah, that would be much
Okay.
better. Much better.
We will work on that and address that.
Okay,
All right?
all right.
All right, thank you for your time, and
you.
we'll see you at the next meeting.
Looking
Sounds
forward
good.
to it.
Thank you.
How you doing, Mike? Good? Okay, next item, minutes. The only one that can't vote on this one was for October 7th is you. Oh. So do I have a motion to accept the meeting minutes for October 7th, 2021 as published?
I make that motion.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
Nick abstains. Okay, with that, there's no other new business. And do I have a motion to close the meeting?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.